Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night at that strange silent hour when the world feels like it's holding its breath? For me, that hour is 3:17 a.m. It started 3 weeks ago. My eyes would just snap open, and the digital clock on my nightstand would glow with those four numbers, 317. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, maybe stress or a weird sleep cycle. I'd roll over, try to go back to sleep, and usually I would. But then the noises began. It was subtle at first. A soft creak, like an old floorboard settling. But it wasn't coming from inside my apartment. It sounded like it was coming from the wall itself, the long blank wall in my living room. The wall where there's never been a door. Every night, 3:17 a.m., I'd wake up. And then I'd hear it. Creak, scrape. A faint, almost inaudible scratching sound. I started leaving a small light on in the living room, telling myself it was just the building making noises, that I was imagining things. But the feeling of being watched, of something waiting just on the other side of that wall, it just grew stronger. Last Tuesday, I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. I was losing sleep and my sanity was starting to fray. So, at 3:15 a.m., I sat on my couch, staring at the blank wall, my heart hammering against my ribs. The clock ticked over. 3:16. Silence. Maybe tonight would be different. Then 3:17. And that's when I saw it. It wasn't a sudden appearance. It was more like a shimmer. The plaster on the wall seemed to ripple, like heat rising from pavement. Slowly, faint lines began to trace themselves into the white paint. A vertical line, then a horizontal one, forming the unmistakable outline of a door. It was an old-fashioned door, the kind you see in historic houses, with dark, aged wood and an ornate, tarnished brass doorknob. It looked completely solid, as if it had been there for 100 years. But it hadn't. I knew that wall. I had painted it myself. My mind was screaming that this was impossible, a hallucination brought on by lack of sleep, but my eyes saw it. My heart felt it. It was real. And as I stared, frozen in place, a sliver of faint, warm light appeared from underneath it, casting a long, thin shadow across my floor. I spent the next hour just sitting there, watching it. I didn't dare move. What was I supposed to do? Call someone? Hey, a ghost door just materialized in my living room. They'd think I was crazy. As the first hints of dawn began to lighten the sky outside, the door began to fade. The edges blurred, the dark wood grew transparent, and the light underneath vanished. By 4 a.m., the wall was just a wall again. Blank, solid, and utterly normal. I walked over and touched it. The paint was cool and smooth. There was no sign that anything had been there. The next night I was prepared, or at least I thought I was. I set up my phone to record, pointing it directly at the wall. I wanted proof. Proof for myself, proof that I wasn't losing my mind. At 3:17 a.m., right on schedule, the door appeared again. The same dark wood, the same brass knob. This time, the sounds were clearer. I could hear something on the other side. It sounded like music. Faint, old-timey music, like a gramophone playing a waltz, and laughter. Soft, gentle laughter. It wasn't scary. It was almost inviting. I found myself taking a step closer. The logical part of my brain was yelling at me to run, to get out of the apartment. But a deeper curiosity, a pull I couldn't explain, drew me forward. My hand trembled as I reached out, my fingers hovering just inches from the brass doorknob. It looked so real, so solid. I could almost feel the cool metal against my skin. What would happen if I opened it? Where would it lead? The music swelled slightly, and the laughter sounded closer. A choice between the world I knew and whatever lay beyond that impossible door. I pulled my hand back. I wasn't brave enough. Not yet. I just stood there until it faded with the coming morning. When I checked my phone's recording, My blood ran cold. The video just showed me standing in my living room, staring at a blank wall for an hour. The door, the light, none of it was on the recording. It was as if it existed only for me. This made it even more terrifying. Was it a gateway? A trick of my own mind? Some kind of personal haunting? Every night for a week, the same ritual played out. The door would appear at 3:17 a.m. I would hear the music and the laughter, and I would stand there, wrestling with the urge to open it. I started researching. I dug into the history of my apartment building, looking for any strange events, any unusual deaths or disappearances. I found nothing. It was just a normal building, but the door kept appearing, a nightly invitation to a place I couldn't see, a place that technology couldn't capture. One night something changed. The door appeared as usual. The music was there, but the laughter was gone. I know I can't keep doing this. I can't keep living in a state of nightly fear and curiosity. A choice has to be made. I'm telling you this story now because I need someone to know. Tonight, I'm not going to just stand there. I don't know if I'm going to barricade the wall or if I am finally going to reach for that doorknob. Part of me is terrified of what's on the other side, but another, bigger part of me is terrified of never knowing. What would you do? Would you open the door? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know what happens next, make sure you subscribe. Because whatever I decide, I have a feeling this is only the beginning. Thanks for watching.